OnyxShow.
So it's another edition of the OnyxShow today. There's this thing about certain people too. They're always attracting the wrong kind of people. All the time, the people that are coming to maybe ask them out or something, they are the wrong kind of people in the sense that maybe the person is a Christian, but the person is either from a different kind of faith. In the Christian wood, we have different kind of faith. So the person is from a different kind of faith, or the person is not a Christian, is something else, or the person is what should I say? Something else. So it covers unbelievers and other religion and other things. How is someone supposed to ward off these kind of attractions?
Adele, this one. My question to such an individual is that, what have you been doing that all the time you have these kind of people being attracted to you? For example, you're a lady and all the time, Sakawa boys, they are the type that are always coming. I've heard this thing before. Sometimes we spiritualize them. We say, spiritual. And now they be coming. This kind of people. You have to check yourself as an individual. Honestly, if all the time you have always unbelievers who are coming to you, these guys, in quotes, these kind of guys who are not serious in life, then you should be asking yourself as a lady or as a gentleman that, what have you been doing wrong? The truth is that it will be very difficult for someone who doesn't think like you, doesn't behave like you, doesn't act like you, to easily come proposing a bedding. The way why we nice only me but the truth is, for example, let's say you are on campus, okay? You are a student, you're on campus. And every time you have these guys with strange attitude, they are the types that are always coming to you. Perhaps you should check your dressing. How you dress will cause certain kind of people to be attracted to you.
But you know that some people, the kind of body they are holding, no matter the dress.
The places you go will also determine the kind of people that are attracted to you. No, why is it that only you? It is only a certain kind of people that are coming always. There should be something around you that is causing a certain kind of people to be attracted to you. And you would have to check it. I, for one, I got to a point where all you see is people who are academic, inclined, conscious, or pay book. They see something about you. They think that you are in academia. The way you talk, it appeals to them. Maybe you talk intellectually or something like that. All the time, check it. You realize that intellectuals will be more attracted to you because of your disposition, how you do your things. So if strange people, in quotes, bad people, are the ones that are always coming, I'm sure there is something somewhere that you should check. Other than that, then you go to what people are saying, it is spiritual. I will see a bonfire more near your deliverance course. Why should you be always attracting drunkards and bad guys? There should be something somewhere you should check.
If I want to add a word to it, I think, like you said, if such keep coming, you in the first place, apart from the lifestyle things, what have you also been praying for? A certain sister said that all her life it is Muslims, Christians, as I said, it's Muslims who have been coming to her. She is giving birth to one child with a Muslim. They couldn't marry. Is this the will of God? This is not the will of God. So, yes, spiritually there can be. The Satan knows what is good. And so if for time, a certain kind of guys keep coming your way, it must attention you to see that, no, I have to pray. God, this is not where I want to go. This is not what I want. And like we said, God will not bring you something bad. So the fact that they are coming plenty doesn't be an indication that maybe it's not a good sign. So if that is not what you pray for, after you have checked your lifestyle, also pray so that God will clear such people. Make the way clear for you so that you see the right person. It's very necessary.
I do remember a similar situation that we had some time ago. The lady was always attracting such people. And she wasn't somebody that you find just anywhere. She was very committed and in church and in everything. You find her at the right places or godly places. But all the people seemingly that were coming were not. And so I don't want us to overemphasize the spiritual part, but it happens. At least I have seen one where a deliverance session had to take place and there were confessions here and there. And after that, like magic, if I should use that word, the thing just ceased. And finally now she's married with kids and all of that. So if her attention wasn't drawn for her to see that, I deal with, I have to do something about it and get help. If she didn't get that help, I'm sure by now, exactly. By now, she'd have married one of them.
There was a lady like that. Guys won't come, but females, lesbians, virtually all the time. The guys were not coming, but lesbians, rather, virtually, oh, yeah, baby, these people will come. Virtually every time. This one.
But you see, what do you know?
Wow. But I want to ask this question. There are some people in the church. They are always in church. They don't go anywhere else. They are always in the church. But no one seems to come. Or they are not seeing anyone that they can go to. That's for the guys. Those people, too, what do we say about them? So, like the guys, they are not seeing anyone like, or you almost spec, and that's on any one level. Get it? You get it? And I said, the ladies too, no one is coming. But Uncle Baby or your chorister, like, she's busy in the church, he's busy in the church, but what can that person also do to also find the one?
Like we have learned in our previous studies, God has a will and man has a will. And I've always seen that when it comes to the choice of a partner, much as we depend on God, we also have a power of choice. So what have you been praying for? What do you look? Sometimes, like we discussed some time ago, sometimes we are too expectant. We are looking too high. The ladies are around us, but you are looking certain expectations, class system, and what have you. So sometimes we have to bring ourselves down. You see, when I was looking for a wife, one of the tests I was also running, apart from the prayer and things, one thing I also used to do is, sometimes I say, God, I'm going to make a move. If it is your will, let it happen. If it is not your will, show me a sign. So sometimes you can even propose to look for confirmation. Please, do you get what I'm saying? Sometimes you can just propose to have a confirmation. And sometimes it happens too. So sometimes don't look too high. Don't be so just make a move and leave the rest of it to God. Just make a move and leave the rest of it to God. It's not like Papa said, you don't have to receive a vision and whatever. That's why sometimes there is an advantage marrying from our church, because majority of the ladies there, I said that a woman whom I have grown from Sunday school with, choosing her for a wife is easier than a woman I met on campus. Because the woman I met on campus, whatsoever happens, I should have an opportunity to study her and be convinced about certain things. As compared to a woman I've been in the church with, Sunday school, teens, adult youth, and co. When you are making a move, whether a man or a woman, when you are making a decision, it's a bit easier than somebody you haven't known. Then when it comes to the issue of nobody is coming in the church, and we said that we don't get our partners only in the church. Sometimes it can happen at your workplace. Sometimes it can happen at a wedding. Sometimes it can happen at a funeral. You don't go anywhere. The youth of today, the convention, we don't go. When we are called for rally, they are limited to the assembly. And sometimes maybe your wife is in another assembly or another district. God is not going to hold the hand of the person and bring to you. So sometimes you have to also be versatile. You have to move out. And as you mingle, as a marriage begins with friendship. So you don't meet a person and say, I'm going to marry you. You create a room for friendship. And as you go on, you see that the connection will happen. So you don't have to be limited. Don't think too much. Don't be over expectant and don't limit yourself to one place. You may not find the person there. It can be somewhere else. So move, make friends. I've been telling the youth ladies and the guys, don't rush to propose. Rather create room for friendships. Make friends. And as time goes on, you'll see that things will work and you'll get the right person to be with.
Yeah, so when you mentioned that you can find someone at the funeral or at wedding, it just reminded me how I met my husband, how I saw, the first time I saw him, it was at a retreat. You see, they said watch and pray. So it means when I was praying, I was watching. I was watching with one eye. I was praying with one eye. So, you see, sometimes, like you just said, sometimes all the time we are thinking that, in church. And church is Sunday church. We don't go anywhere. When they call us for evening service, we don't go. When they call us for joint services, I know some people that joint service in Kwan or Beko or Nomba local church, because need the name. Like at that point, Opekunu. Opekunu inti baby obenya kunu no Beko. I even know someone who even changed the same church, but changing the local, went to another local because she realized that she has seen all the guys. No, none of them meet. Even if any of them comes, she's not going to accept. So she's changing to see if she meets new people. So I think it's a very laudable point that you made out there. But this is just on the lighter note. So can you share with us where you met your partner? Since all of us are married, where did you meet?
Okay, for me, it was at church.
Like the same local assembly?
The same local assembly.
Oh, wow.
We became friends. I came from Bema Camp.
Okay.
And he also came from Tema.
Oh, wow.
We came to the same local, then we became friends.
And then far.
But then, as we said, you have to broaden your scope. Sometimes, per their individual makeup, some people are very introvert. But then as we grow and marriage issues come alongside, you have to broaden your scope. Chale pie kakra. Yempe pie kakra. Why? Pie kakra. Go out there and explore. Not exploring as in coding someone, but then you see people outside and who knows, somebody might be attracted to you and you start from there. So let's go out. Let's go out more. Amen.
Okay, so it's going round though.
Okay.
As also I said. No, let me. Okay, you go then. And me makami did that.
Okay, so I also met my wife in the church. But just it was a different assembly. Yes, church is good. It was in the church, but a different local assembly. And I don't know, like if you are a Christian, then you understand that every challenge you encounter in life is for a lesson. I didn't get the opportunity to marry early, as I wished I did. I married a bit late. But a woman I was so sure of gave up the relationship in March 4th. The woman I'm married now accepted my proposal in April. The woman I married was my youth member. Then I was assistant district youth leader. I was taking her through youth quizzes. I never knew she would even become my wife. The time I was fighting for this relationship that didn't work, that got broken in March, I was in an extensive conversation with her as a youth member. I was checking up. She was doing her service in the Eastern region then. I was checking up. I was very regular, but I didn't know I was nurturing my wife. So after suffering, and I won't call it heartbreaks, there were lessons for me. After suffering a number of disappointments, I told the woman my mind today. In 5 days' time, I had a feedback that my parents have agreed. I was shivering. So all this while, this thing was there, and some people were making me cry and cry and cry and cry. And so after her acceptance, or when I made a decision to go for it, it was like a revelation. Every conviction was coming to me. I remember those days when I was a deacon and you go for district joint. And whenever I go to district joint at dawn, Declan going to pack canopies, I see her and the sister washing the washroom before we start service. So immediately her thought came to mind. It was like a picture. All those things were run. They were all convictions that were coming to me that this woman is just it. And it was, the last one rather was smooth. And the parents are angels. They are making me enjoy marriage like something.
We are moving on. Oh. Also, we are coming to you. But let's go to Victoria first.
So I met my husband on campus. I would also say church because we were working in Pensa then. He was my boss. I was so afraid of him. I always say that because when we're working, he was Sabah rep, I was in Sabah. At the time, assistant secretary thereabout. I was so scared. Like, he was too strict for my liking. How can you go to dawn prayers at 3 a.m., like on campus, 3:30, 4:30, when even LCC prayer was like 5:30 or so? And by the time you get there, he's already on the field. By the time we will get there, where you don't come, Charlie. Shout out to you, babe. But, fast forward, we started working together, friendship. We're friends for a while. Not knowing, he had seen me. The first day, he told me how I came to his room to pay ITI fees, where we used to do ITI. So the day I walked into his room to come and pay my money, he was like, no. And no bought me too. But I didn't. I didn't. Yeah, he wasn't my friend or anything. But I mean, fast forward, became friends, and today we are married. We're married for close to 6 years now. Yeah.
Last but not least at all.
Hey, Asemu. Hey.
Yes,
It's a penetrating pan. Okay. Anyways, I also met my wife on campus. In fact, I remember the very first day I met her. It was a lady friend, one Eunice B. After a midweek service, Wednesday midweek service, I was at the top Sabah. And then this Eunice girl held a lady's hand and brought her. Pressy, this lady, one way you are obeja sorry to shena onka sorry him. Honestly, I wasn't really, my mind, everything wasn't there. I was looking somewhere, Methodist MPU. There was this lady being Methodist Presby Union there. That was where I was looking. My mind wasn't on my wife, actually. So we just became, I had to call her, where are you? We are going for midweek, Sunday service. I had to check up on her for a while. I was in 400, she was in 100. Soon, we left school, went for national service, and she was also there upon the bra until I came back for my master's program. It was there, I met her, I wasn't getting accommodation because I came late. She was the one who spoke to someone, the person gave out his bed. Free of charge, I went to sleep. She was, checking up, how are you? I had no friends on campus, saying that kind of thing. So it was through that we were talking. What is here? And then we talked. So that was it.
So she was almost like your daughter, Bisa. Style.
Something like that.
Because I know people on campus who are saying, oh, I am a daughter. I am a daughter.
Me, I don't have daughters. See, me, I don't have daughters. I don't want to say daughter. That thing, I don't have one, honestly. I have friends. If you have an issue, I want us to pray together. I just call you, we pray, we do stuff. But say daughter, son, that kind of thing.
Okay. So your sister.
We're just friends. We were friends.
Or your sister.
We were friends, lah. We were friends, and the friendship, graduated to another level. So that's it.
Wow. So I think we have learned a lot from this topic, how to be able to tell if someone is the one. And maybe what I will also add to it is that you have to be very careful if you are a lady. Very, very careful when you are accepting somebody's proposal. What I always advise people is that one thing I put in my head is that if I see the guy and I'm able to imagine that if this guy gets drunk, disgraces himself, even sleeps in the gutter, and I find him the following morning, and I can still submit to his authority and say that he's my head and he's my husband, then I'm settled. If this guy, one way or the other, one day does not treat me like the way I need to be treated, and I can still say that he's the one that I married and he's still my head, then I'm ready to go on. So as a lady, before you accept anybody's proposal, be very careful, because he becomes your head automatically. There's not the time to say that, oh, recently I watched an advert. I think it was a movie which has already premiered. And they were saying their vows. And he said that, I take you as my lawfully wedded husband for the next 2 years, renewable under the following conditions. And I'm like, oh, wow. If this was it, then people would just rush into marriage. And the guy was like, hey, Aden. I mean, the conditions were also very, I'm not going to prepare fufu and abenkwai for you on Sundays. I will get your password and all of that. You know, it can, at the beginning, the guy can say, oh, yes, I'll do all that for you. But you have to put it in your head. What if in the next 2 years he changes? Would you be able to submit to him? Submission is very key for you as a lady. And for the guy, if you know that the lady you are going in for is not your ultimate, please don't go and bother somebody's daughter. Because the next time you see Akosia and you are chasing Akosia, the next time you see Abaya, you are chasing Abaya, you are going to worry somebody's daughter. So if you know that this person that I've seen, me who will be like our vows say, I would forsake all others and focus on only you. If you know you can't do that, don't go and worry somebody's daughter. That means you have not found the one. Lastly, please, if you know that you are marrying into a particular faith in our Christian, Christendom, you will not be able to take certain things that they do. Don't worry yourself and go and marry there. If you know that you are an Adventist, maybe you should marry an Adventist. That way, it gets easier. If you're a Pentecostal, marry a Pentecostal. It gets easier. If you marry someone who does not believe in speaking in tongues, you can just imagine when you are trying to pray at dawn, it's going to be a fight. So to wrap it all up, I'm sure you've learned some very good things and you are going to make the right choices. Those of you who have made a choice and you are thinking, I think I made a mistake, this is the time for you to run away, because when you get married, you will not be able to break it off. So I want to say a very big thank you to Domi Church of Pentecost and its youth ministry for giving us this opportunity to have this interaction with them. And I want to say a big thank you to Aqua Makeover Studios. Makeup extraordinaire. Just take her number and call her. She will come to wherever you are and do your makeup for you. Thank you very much. And we hope you were blessed. We'll see you again some other time. Bye.